Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. Hope you're all having an incredible weekend so far. Sending you all love. And just a reminder, today is the last day for the flash sale on my courses over at watersabove.com/sale. You can use the promo code WatersAbove and apply that promo code at checkout. It's written all as one word in all lowercase. The sale on my courses will be live for the rest of today, and my new expansion mastermind course that just came out in September will actually be increasing in price starting tomorrow. So this is a great opportunity to get that course while the sale is still going on. I'll be adding a new chapter to this course in about a week, so it'll be increasing the value. It'll have over 70 coaching course videos. It's my best work to date. And also, the new month has started over on Patreon. If you've been patiently waiting to join, I appreciate your support. You can sign up today by visiting patreon.com/watersabove to join the Mastermind community and get instant access to my weekly Red Pill podcasts. That's my technical analysis podcast to wrap up the week, and for me to review the altcoins that the Wolf Pack votes on. I'll actually be releasing podcast number 79 tomorrow. So if you join today, you can watch last week's podcast number 78, which was actually dedicated to the Shemitah. I called it the Shemitah special. So it's packed with value to prepare your guys for the next episode. Also, by becoming a Patreon supporter, you'll get access to our Discord server for our community group chat. You could come hang out with the Wolf Pack, unlock the biggest discounts on my courses, and much more. The Patreon link can also be found in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria Numerology and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So just a quick update video for today because I wanted to make this one quicker. We do have a couple of special dates in this week. Today is Saturday, October 1st, but we're approaching this Monday, which has a very important numerological connection to the upcoming solar eclipse. So if you look at this Monday being the 3rd of October and connecting it to the solar eclipse that'll be happening around October 25th, this is giving you 22 days. And this number 22 has had a lot of significance this entire year as we've transitioned through the Hebrew year of 5,782, which equals 22. And we know that we're in the Gregorian year still of 2022. So if you've been watching my videos and following along, you know about the significance of this date. And I'm using this number and this number sequence of 22 as kind of a pivot energy for other things to come throughout the rest of this year. So this Wednesday is also pretty interesting as well, October 5th, because if I connect that to the upcoming lunar eclipse, which is the big date that I've been preparing people for. Remember, I've been giving more emphasis to this eclipse of November 7th than I have been of the date of the Shemitah. So Rosh Hashanah, which was September 26th, that just passed. And like I said, in my last Red Pill podcast over on Patreon, I gave this whole podcast dedicated to the Shemitah and my overall outlook of how I'm anticipating the eclipse of October, which will be coming up in about 25 days or so, and that early November eclipse. So the big connection here between the 5th of October and this eclipse is it's going to be a 33-day time span. 33, the master number of transmutation and enlightenment. It's a very important number, and we're seeing that connection between these two dates. So what makes this even more special is the day before this, we actually have another connection. So if we take this date of October 4th and connect it to Rosh Hashanah, which we just moved through, and remember, between the 26th and to the 27th, we entered what I'm calling the year of the Jubilee. And this is a global concept, meaning it will be good for some nations and not so good for others. It's never going to follow the definition version of what Jubilee is, because the people who run this world are not concerned with positivity. They're concerned with energy harvesting. And I've been teaching you guys about this for a while now. So getting back on track, this is a big connection because you're seeing that the span between October 4th and September 26th is giving you 8 days, and this is the exact date leaving 88 days in the year. So we have that 888 connection, as well as the standard date numerology on this date is going to be the 11. The day before, if you look at the date numerology the way that I like to, with any double digits added together, you get a 55. So basically, this entire week, this transition is sort of an energy to consider. So remember, we are just a couple weeks out from eclipse season, as I like to call it. So overall, I'm sort of anticipating this upcoming week to be more of a neutral energy as we shift into the full moon. So that full moon will be on the 9th of October. It's coming up very soon, about 8 days from the release of this video. Typically around a full moon, we get a more bearish energy. So I'll be going over all of that when I get to the technical analysis. Essentially, we should just experience a little bit of a more neutral market, and then we could perhaps anticipate some downside retests for this market, but probably nothing very extreme until we get closer to the eclipse of October 25th and the eclipse of November 8th and November 7th, right? So just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what I'm anticipating this week, kind of more of like a pivot energy as we transition into eclipse season in a couple weeks. And we'll be following along this every week. So let's look at the charts. And one thing to mention, if you guys watched my last video, you're going to see around the 31-minute mark, around 31 minutes and 56 seconds. The video was called The Most Important Day, and it was just talking about Rosh Hashanah being the Hebrew New Year, which came to the finality of the Shemitah year, the 7-year cycle, and how I was telling people that I was anticipating this Shemitah to behave more like 1973, where we actually saw a little bit of a early bottom followed by a relief rally, which leads you to late October, and then a collapse following into the middle end of Q4. So I made a whole video presentation about this inside of my Patreon called The Jubilee Decoded. So anyone who becomes a Patreon supporter, you will have access to that video. You can just go look in the content. And there's over 100 Patreon posts. That will actually be a part 2 video to the video called The Shemitah Decoded. And those two are about a total of 2 hours in length. Really, really fills you in on everything going on. Everything from cryptocurrency to the indices, precious metals, how I'm anticipating Q4 to go this year into Q1 of 2023. So it's very, very thorough. And I laid it all out there. And it's really been interesting so far as we've gotten to the last days of the Shemitah and transition into October, what we're seeing happen with XRP. So if you watched my last video, you know we were talking about a breakout, but this specific time frame of the video, around 31 to 32 minutes, I talked about how we've actually reached our upside targets and to anticipate a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a retest of this 236 fib. And then at this moment of the video, I mentioned that if we close a daily below the 236 fib to anticipate 39 cents to 40 cents. And let's look at the current price action since that video was released. And you can see we've not gone higher than that date that I told you we would hit the 55 to 56 cent marker, which was 2 videos ago that I released before that even happened. And then right here is a crucial moment. So you're going to look at September 27th. You see this red candle, and you see how that red candle actually goes below this horizontal line. Well, that means we closed the daily below the 236. And what happened? We swiped down with the following day candle all the way down to about 41 cents. So we were within like a 2% target of the downside, but ultimately it was still direction accurate. And within 2% is pretty scary accurate when you're talking about a cryptocurrency, very volatile altcoin at that. So we closed technically below that level. And what I finished up this analysis with on XRP was I said that if we do come down to 39 cents, 38 cents, but that 39-40 cent range, to anticipate a bounce. I said to anticipate a bounce, and thus far we've seen that play out perfectly, where we came down, rejected off the 55 cent level, right down to about 41 cents, and then we bounced hitting a target the next day of about 51 cents. And thus far, we're still on a downtrend. So this is why I told people to not get crazy about this move. It was just a technical breakout of this triangle pattern. If we're gonna see higher levels, we need it to come to fruition in stages. We don't just anticipate a straight line in this environment we have today with very low retail involvement, very low volume, no closure on the SEC settlement. We're kind of just looking at this as traders at this time. So the people that have been following along the analysis in the last 3 videos I've been sharing regarding XRP, you've been doing really well, and the accuracy has been unbelievable. So I'm not taking credit for it. I'm just trying to say that when we combine the technical analysis with the Gematria Numerology and Astrology as we do, as well as just looking at the lunar cycles and what we've been talking about with the Hebrew calendar, it's undeniable, guys. Like, this isn't about opinions anymore. It's about me trying to help you get a leg on this market to have an advantage. So XRP is not isolated from those elements. It behaves accordingly. So now that we've had this move to the downside, we're continuing a lower high structure. We're potentially going to be making a bull flag. So this would be your flagpole, and this could be the creation of the flag. I don't want to get too into that at this moment right now because we need to see how this all plays out, especially since we're about 8 days out from the upcoming full moon. But let me just share the upside and downside targets with you guys. So we still have this critical area of the 236. The measurement on this 236 was just from this local yearly high going back to April of 2021 down to the recent lows of June of 2022. And this is in a logarithmic scale with the fib turned log settings on. And after breaking above the 236, it's very normal to come back test the 236 as a support. If we're going to start to make daily closure highs, I do think the next level we're going to see for XRP is around 61 cents. And I shared that in this last video as well. So that could be happening before the end of this month. And the difference between 61 cents and higher could happen very quickly, especially for XRP. But my technical target that I'm looking at is 58 cents to 61 cents. And the big reason behind 58 is because XRP equals 58 in Gematria, right? And I'm just paying attention to this as a trader. Again, I still think we have opportunity for new lows coming in this microstructure. I do see that at the end of this year, there's another possibility for an overall leg down for XRP, even as low as 22 cents. And I've been sharing that sentiment with everyone now for about 6 months now. So we got pretty damn close to it around June, but because we're at the end of the Shemitah cycle now, and we know that the S&P and the indices have much more room to go, it's typically about a 2-month window where we see the first next leg down in the market. And I'm talking about the whole market right now. Everything from indices, precious metals, etc. This creating a deflationary spike in the DXY, which will show because we're watching all the other currencies around the world start to become very, very weak, historically weak for that matter, specifically the euro and the British pound. So this is playing out very nicely. Upside target is about 58 cents to 61 cents. I don't really think XRP is going to do too much better than that for now. It's probably going to roll over. We're going to have those lower targets come in, and we will get there when that time comes. But for now, if we can't continue to hold this 236, the 38-cent level is still in the cards, and that's within reason of the recent pullback that we got, which was short-lived. It only lasted about 48 hours. So let's go over Bitcoin, then we're going to wrap up with ETH and then keep this video short and sweet. So we have this Bitcoin chart. Everything is just stabilizing around this $19,000 level, really building support right now. I've been sharing the analysis heavily on this coin, how there is definitely opportunity for more downside, especially into those eclipses, the one of November. We could be seeing 14,000, maybe even 12,500. But just remember, we have an iteration of the last bull run for Bitcoin during a Shemitah cycle. So we had this bull run, then the start of the Shemitah in 2014 and the end of the Shemitah in 2015. And you see what happened. When it ended this sabbatical year, Bitcoin went on a run. It actually continued to go up parabolically, retesting the 21 exponential moving average on the weekly chart over and over and over again for almost 2 years straight. Okay, guys. So this is not out of the cards. I've already told you guys many times that as of April and May of 2023, I anticipate bullish energy for Bitcoin. Everything else will be a little bit stalled out because it'll have to deal with overall dominance and what's going on with Ethereum at that time, what's going on with Tether at that time. But I still see that when we move into the April-May eclipses, that Bitcoin will start its reversal back to a new cycle, a new bull cycle, as some like to call it. But right now, we're sandwiched in between the Shemitah, and we just got out of it recently. You can see that this led to a recovery for Bitcoin in this moment. So let me hide everything, go to like a 5-day chart, and I'll show you if we could look at both cycles at the same time. So here we are, we're pretty extended out. You see there's a double bottom. Then this is the end of the Shemitah in 2015 rally. So here we have kind of like a weird double bottom, and we could definitely go lower, but I'm just sharing that this iteration of the past, it had a pretty surprising outcome. We actually went on to have Bitcoin continue to be the best performing asset during this whole time horizon, while the stock market and everything else didn't perform as well. So pay attention. Cryptocurrency had a very amazing recovery into incredible price discovery levels at the end of the last Shemitah. I think it's going to be the same in this iteration, even if the stock market continues to have a 2 to 3 year bear market. So I'm going to wrap the video up very soon, but I just want to say this, that 1973, the market that I keep comparing this to, we had that 1973 to 1975 recession, okay? We could still have that again with the overall world, everything from housing being in a bubble to this historic debt bubble we're in. I mean, it's anyone who knows anything about economics knows that this environment is very odd, and it's been pumped up for way too long, and now it's starting to show its fangs, and we're watching all these global currencies start to become extremely weak, and the only thing the central banks can do to respond to this is let it fail or print money. I know they're going to print for a little, but then eventually they're going to pull out the lifeline, and they're going to let this figure out where it wants to bottom out at. But cryptocurrency is the nascent asset class that will be implemented in the future. Blockchain technology is our future. That's undeniable, okay? So this is why I'm really, really trying my best to almost start to begin to decouple and isolate crypto from the overall economic conversation, because it still has so much more to catch up to. Regulation, I mean, even the market cap is super low compared to where it could be. So I don't want to get too philosophical. I'll be breaking this down much, much more in tomorrow's Red Pill podcast over on Patreon. But this structure is pretty compelling, that as we get closer to November, we're going to be figuring out like what does Bitcoin want to do to fulfill the rest of this year, and whatever Bitcoin does is going to bring the same energy to all the other altcoins. Meaning if Bitcoin goes down, we will see everything else go down. ETH, XRP, all the ISO 222 coins, it will all be happening at a similar time. So this structure is nice to see for Bitcoin, but we're towing a line between breaking support, having a leg down, and the speed of which we can fall and get recovery could be happening within 1 month. That's how quick crypto likes to recover. And we all know this because when we have dramatic washouts in this market, the buybacks are historic. So let's move on to ETH. I'll be just sharing another thing that I'm seeing, and it just follows a fractal from back in the prior bull run. So we have a high, then we have like somewhat of a selling climax, and then we have this W pattern with this second higher V. So you see this drown out right here. Could be very similar to this drown out right there. And then that W led to just a higher lows uptrend into a bull trap, which this took time. If you look at the space of time it took, it was about 200 trading days, right? So if we're looking at what's going on here, 200 trading days out puts us around the beginning of the year in 2023. So structurally, this is looking pretty similar with just less overall ROI, right? Because back here, the market cap was much lower, and that's to be expected. So you have a top, you have a shakeout to the downside, then you have a bull trap. So you have top, shakeout to the downside, bull trap, followed by break of support lows, your selling climax with this W breakout. It could just be extending to the point where instead of happening in 200 days, maybe in this cycle it takes 300. Who knows? And also, who cares? Because what matters most is how people will respond to these prices hitting. So this is telling me that ETH is actually looking pretty good versus Bitcoin when you look at the local structure, because Bitcoin's trading around here, while ETH is actually holding higher lows. So this is telling me that this market cycle is looking stupid identical to the last one. I mean, very, very interesting to be watching how algorithmic this is. It's actually makes our work a lot easier for us. So any closures at this time, probably into the 1200 range, and that's going to take a little bit more downside for ETH. So anything below 1,200, that's when I anticipate us to hit the 1,000 flat level, and 1,000 is just the psychological level. 800 and lower will happen if Bitcoin decides to break below 17,000. So we'll keep it as easy as that. And in the meantime, let's just see how this week closes out. Let's see how those key dates that I shared of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th play out. I gave you all those connections in the beginning of this video. I'm really excited for the new month on Patreon, hanging out with the Wolf Pack. Again, we do one Red Pill podcast every single week. So we'll be filling you in on lots of information, and then it is the last 24 hours for that sale over on my website, watersabove.com/sale, and you could use this promo code watersabove. I have 3 full courses available. Either of them suits wherever you're at in this, whether you're interested in my Friday live streams where I talk about more of the stuff in the expansion mastermind, or if you're somebody who really wants to learn how to invest, utilize Gematria Numerology and Astrology combined with technical analysis, you want to learn technical analysis, the Mastermind course is what you want to go with. Or if you're somebody who already knows TA and you're trying to learn how to trade, the advanced trading course will be for you. So I appreciate all of your support, wishing you all a beautiful rest of your day. Looking forward to catching you guys on tomorrow's Red Pill podcast. Much love.